I'm about to share with you guys something quite interesting. Now, yes, we are going to talk about how the Simpsons actually predicted the things that are going on today. Of course, there's been talks of it before, but it's just so interesting that what I'm about to share with you, hopefully this will actually, enlighten you a little bit more, and that you should not take these things and play around with them. All right, because everything happens for a reason. So now that you have this, before I proceed further with the Simpsons, look at this image, and I want you to make note that the image which you are seeing is clearly the image of Greta Thunberg, and the other image of this other blonde girl that you're seeing is actually an image of Nazi propaganda. So the Germans used little girls with the exact same features as Greta, and they used them for propaganda, for the purposes of propagandas. Now, here's what I will say. It's so interesting that Greta Thunberg is carrying the agenda of the papacy, the agenda of Pope Francis, and she's running with it, and people are following Greta Thunberg but not knowing that they're actually following Pope Francis. So there are many people who say, I don't like the Pope, I don't like Pope Francis, I don't like the Catholic Church, but I like Greta Thunberg. Well, guess what? Greta Thunberg, she likes the Pope, and she is inspired by the Pope, and she's carrying the Pope's agenda, and she's running with it wherever she can. Hold that thought. Here's what I'm going to make you think about right now. Pope Francis is not the only Pope who is in power right now, because Pope Francis made a statement before that he receives advice from who? From Joseph Ratzinger, and that would be the former Pope, Pope Benedict XVI. Now, this is the first time ever in the history of the Vatican, or in the history of the papacy, this is the first time ever in which there are two popes that occupy the throne. Well, they both don't occupy the throne, should I say. One occupies the throne and is seen, but the other is behind the scenes. Yet, just because the other is behind the scenes does not mean that he does not have power and influence, because Pope Benedict XVI, or Joseph Ratzinger, he still gives advice to Pope Francis. Now, given that background, here's what you need to understand. What you do need to know about Joseph Ratzinger is that he used to be among the youth of Germany. I'm going to break this down a little bit more. He was a Hitler youth. That is Joseph Ratzinger, formerly known as Pope Benedict. So he has good knowledge of the things that the Germans did. Why? Because he was one of them in the first place. So is it just by pure coincidence that you're seeing a German propaganda that took place during the Second World War, while actually leading to the Second World War? Is it just by pure coincidence that they have these propagandas, and it lasted for quite some time? Is it just by pure coincidence, or the third time? Is it just by pure coincidence that they are utilizing a girl just as they used a girl back then? And it just so happened to be that that both girls, they just happened to be alike. Is it not interesting that it just happened to be that way? That's just something for you to think about. Now, this video is talking about the Simpsons, so I'm just going to put all of that which I just shared with you right now, I'm just going to put all of that aside, and we're going to deal with this issue right now. It's quite interesting that the Simpsons has done numerous videos on numerous accounts in which their videos actually predicted things that only secret knowledge would allow. So that means that the writers of the Simpsons, the writers of the script, the animators, even these people, they have background knowledge that has been given to them, because I truly believe that these people are tied with dark powers, powers in high places. And that's because the industry is ruled by demons. The industry is ruled by Satan himself. Satan and his fallen angels, they are the ones who own the industry. They own the entertainment industry. They own television. Television is simply a religion that Satan is giving to you. Alright? So now, having that there, let's deal with the Simpsons. You see, the Simpsons, knowing the things that we know back about what they were able to predict, right? When we examine this video, and I'm going to share with you this video, we're going to watch it together. It's about it's found from the Simpsons movie, and in that movie, released a number of years ago, that movie, it actually was surrounding or revolving around the issue of climate change, or global warming, as they used to call it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to play the video. I'm going to play the video for you, and all of us are going to watch this video together. For copyright reasons, I'm just going to have to temper with the audio, just so that they don't end up, flagging the video, because my video, if I don't do that, then the video is not going to be allowed to play on YouTube. Many times, every time I try to upload a good quality audio of one of these things, they flag the video immediately and it's blocked worldwide. So, I'm going to stay on screen. We're going to watch this together. So open your eyes. Open your eyes and open your ears, and let's pay close attention to exactly the things which are being said here.
There is no Springfield 50 years in the future. With global warming trapping the CO2 inside our poisonous atmosphere.
You have stolen my dreams, my childhood, with your empty words.
Our superheated oceans will rise, drowning our lowlands, leaving what's left of humanity baking in deserts that once fed the world.
People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction.
And in the new Nineveh, darkness falls.
You see, this is Lisa Simpson speaking about Springfield in 50 years, and there is no Springfield in 50 years. Greta Thunberg, she says there will be no world in 12 years. If we don't do anything about the world in 12 years, the world is not going to last. You can see that she is speaking with fear. She's creating fear among her fellow peers. Lisa Simpson is doing this, right? And in like manner, Greta Thunberg is also instilling fear among her fellow peers. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the way she's talking is exactly how Greta Thunberg is even speaking before the United Nations. And it just so happened that, and you can see at the end of this short clip, how as she's speaking, all the children, all her fellow classmates are all stuck with their mouths open wide, ready for a fly to just run in their mouths and choke them. You see, one of them ends up jumping out of the window. Obviously, that's just a cartoon. We know it's just a cartoon. But what is this depicting? It's depicting the fear that is within the tone of Lisa Simpson. All right? Now, if you observe, Greta Thunberg has done this exact same thing where she caused fear among the youth. And I just happened to caught this evidence as well as I went to the climate rally and I was interviewing some of the girls. And guess what? They were admitting that they live in fear every single day. And I asked them, when did you begin to feel this fear? And they said, well, Greta inspired me. Greta is the one who made me feel the fear. Now I wake up every day and I'm scared. You see, the Bible says men's hearts are going to fail them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming upon the earth. You see, ladies and gentlemen, there's distress in the land. There are fearful sights that are taking place in heaven and on earth. The heavens themselves are beginning to shake. This is called Bible prophecy. Greta Thunberg is saying if we don't do anything in 12 years, there is no world, there is no planet. There's no planet B. You see? So you can see the parallels here. Now I want you to observe. Remember, I said that there are children. It's children and, girls and boys. Children, youth, young adults, they're the ones who are leading the climate change rally. Observe this next clip. And this is about Homer Simpson. If you observed, I'm going to rewind back. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to show you guys. You guys are going to see it. If you look, when Homer Simpson was driving down the hill, it says no dumping everywhere. It says no dumping in the lake. And what does Homer Simpson do? He still decides to drive right through to go and dump this nuclear waste in the lake or in the river. Now, here's the interesting thing. As he is driving, you can see the wall or the barricade between the lake or between the river and the land. The barricade is there, and what do they have painted on the barricade? They have children. They have children and young, like basically young children holding their hands together, right? The pictures of them are holding hands together as if they are protesting the dumping. They're protesting, saying no dumping, right? You see the image. It's right in front of you. So what's that telling us? That is telling us it's children who are the ones who are going to be standing in front of the climate change. They're the ones who are going to be standing up against the stubborn adults. You understand? So you can see there are many more things which actually take place within the Simpsons that parallels the things which are taking place today. This is a very clever tactic of really getting to people's minds. Use a little girl to win over the masses, and that's exactly what they're doing. This is not something new. It's been done before in the past. The Germans did it. So if history, you see, history repeats itself because people tend to forget the past. Those who don't study the history are doomed to repeat it. If you don't study your past, you will not know where you're going to go, because most of the time people are actually doing a U-turn, because history repeats itself always. So now as we look at this situation that's taking place right now, a lot of children actually are growing up with fear. Fear is being instilled upon them. And you know what? Expect these strikes to grow even more and more. Now, for now, at the moment, it says hashtag Fridays. I think it's Fridays for future or something, or Fridays for climate strike. They strike every Fridays right now. Expect that to increase, because the students are going to say, you know what? This is crazy. This is getting ridiculous. Our leaders are not doing anything about climate change. We need to step up. We need to do something now. And the thing is, this is only going to grow more and more. These little children, their minds are being stirred. The youth, their minds are being stirred. And now even the college students, they themselves, their minds are being stirred by the things that are taking place, by the mass propaganda. So what's this going to lead to? It's going to lead to severe anxiety and severe panic. Men's hearts are going to fail them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming onto the earth. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Bible prophecy is being fulfilled. Time is no longer available. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it's quite simple. The reason why people are trying to save the earth is because they don't want the world to end. It's because they don't want Jesus to come back. That's what it is. In all actuality, they do not want Jesus Christ to come. They don't want Yeshua to come and to rescue us. The earth is going to be destroyed either way. What are you trying to hold on to this world for? Why are you trying to hold on to this first life? We have short time here on earth to work our salvation with fear and trembling and with reverence to the Most High, to Elohim, to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we have such a short time. The world is telling us, the world is telling you that if we don't do anything in 12 years, the world will end. However, even that number has been brought down. They say if we don't do anything in a year and a half's time, the world will also, will be at a much worse situation. The world could end quickly. You see, the world knows, the people in the world, they know that the world is ending. But it seems that while the world is now, God Almighty is using the world to give the message to the sleeping saints, telling them, look, the people of the world are telling you that the world is ending. Look, the unbelievers, they themselves believe the world is ending. Why don't you believe that my coming is imminent? There are many Christians, quote unquote, many quote unquote believers in Jesus Christ who say that they believe that He is going to come eventually, but even they don't realize the imminent the imminent return of Jesus Christ. It's imminent. The coming of Jesus Christ is imminent. That's the only way to describe it. If I even use the word soon, that Jesus is coming soon, that does not suggest that it's imminent. Soon can just be, oh yeah, He's going to come soon. But His coming is imminent. The signs all around us are telling us that Jesus is coming. So the question is, what are we doing about all of this? What are we, as children of the Most High God, what are we doing about it? The majority of people are sleeping. The majority of people are sleeping with their lamps without an extra oil. That lamp is going to grow dim and dim and dimmer as time goes by. But only those that have the extra oil, only they will be able to trim their lamps, and then that lamp will keep burning bright, and it will only get brighter and brighter with time. Now is the time for us to start exercising standing up for our faith. If we don't stand up to our faith for our faith now, we're not going to be able to stand up when the time is required of us to stand for our faith. Jesus Christ is coming, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even playing any games. I don't waste time with this anymore. Whether you believe it or not, Jesus is coming. I'm not going to hold you off. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in and for joining me. You've been warned. If you don't open your eyes and turn to Jesus Christ, if you don't accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior of your life, you're going to be in trouble. If you don't keep His commandments, you're going to be in trouble. Don't fall into any type of foolishness that anyone is going to tell you that you are only to keep 9 commandments and ignore 1 commandment. Do not buy into any foolishness. People today will come and tell you all types of doctrines, telling you because we are saved by grace, we don't have to worry about the commandments of God. Here are they that keep the commandments of God. The commandments of God are simply His 10 commandments. When Jesus gave the 2 commandments, right? You shall love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all your soul and mind, and you shall love thy neighbor as thyself. When Jesus gave those 2 commandments, guess what? Those 2 commandments are simply the commandments in which all the laws of God actually hang upon. God's 10 commandments hang upon these 2 commandments, because the first 4 commandments of the 10 commandments, the first 4 commandments deals with love to God. If you love the Lord your God, you will not have any other gods before him. If you love the Lord your God, you will not make any graven images before him. If you love the Lord your God, you will not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. If you love the Lord your God, you will honor and keep holy his Sabbath day. The Sabbath is still relevant today. The Sabbath was instituted before sin entered into the world, and the Sabbath is going to be in a new earth. So if the Sabbath is going to be in a new earth, what makes you think that the Sabbath is done away with? The second part of the commandments, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, that's from commandment number 5 all the way to commandment number 10. Open your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, open your eyes. I'm not going to hold you off. Your salvation is on the line. Should you go ahead and play around with God's 10 commandments and ignore it and treat his Sabbath commandment as if it is nothing, and you're going to trample upon it, and you're going to say, no, God is love. God, we are saved by grace and grace alone. I don't care about the Sabbath, and I'm putting my foot down on that. Go ahead and do that. And guess what? Because you trample on the Sabbath, you are breaking the 4th commandment. That means that you are going to receive the 4th plague, and the 4th plague of the 7 last plagues, plague number 4, deals with the sun being given power to scorch men with intense heat and fire. That's plague number 4. That's what the people get for breaking the 4th commandment of God. The 4th commandment deals with worship, keeping holy the Sabbath day. Saturday is the 7th day of the week. That's the true Sabbath. But since they broke commandment number 4, they began to worship on the day of the sun. Because they turned to sun worship, on plague number 4, God is going to give them now the sun to scorch them with intense heat and fire. So thank you for tuning in and for joining me. You take good care of yourselves. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe, because there's a lot more information coming across your way. You take care of yourselves, be safe, and I will see you guys next time.